Shadow person. That's right. That is right. Okay, guys. You might have heard of these strange creatures called the shadow people. A shadow person, also known as a shadow figure, shadow being, or black mass, is the perception of a patch of shadow as a living humanoid figure, particularly as interpreted by believers in the paranormal or supernatural as the presence of a spirit of other entity. History of the folklore. A number of religions, legends, and belief systems describe shadowy spiritual beings or supernatural entities such as shaddies of the underworld, and various shadowy creatures have long been a staple of folklore and ghost stories. The Coast to Coast AM late night radio talk show helped popularize modern beliefs in shadow people. The first time the topic of shadow people was discussed as linked from the shadow was April 12, 2001, when a host, Art Bill, interviewed Native American elder Thunder Strikes, who is also known as Harley Swift Deer Regan. During the show, listeners were encouraged to submit drawings of shadow people that they had seen, and a large number of these drawings were immediately shared publicly on the website. So, this is true. A lot of people had experience with shadow people, and there's a lot of times very similar stories, which makes it so convincing that these shadow figures do exist. Well, let's continue reading from this Wikipedia. Wikipedia. So anyway, in October that year, Haiti Hollis published her first book on the topic of shadow people, and later became a regular guest on Coast to Coast. If you have no idea what Coast to Coast is a very popular radio um, station that actually speaks about a lot of things, various mysterious, shady things, alien abduction and shadow people and other things as well. It speaks about conspiracies. They speak about all kind of things, and a lot of times there's very suspicious activities that happen on that station. Like for instance, there was a call with somebody that somebody called and they were expecting that call. Coast to Coast were expecting a call from this person to interview about aliens, and all of a sudden, this person was cut off from the air and he was never seen again. Coast to Coast knew who this person was. I can't remember the name of the person, but the people they followed up to find out where happened to this person. They just have no idea. The man just mysteriously disappeared. So yeah, very suspicious things like that happened, and I don't believe that Coast to Coast exists anymore. I don't think they still on air anymore. I think they've been shut down. So that's also very very curious. Anyway, Hollis describes a shadow people as dark, sul- sulhouted. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Sorry, guys. With human shapes and profiles that flicker in and out of peripheral vision, and claims that people have reported the figures attempting to jump on chest and choke them. She believes the figures to be negative alien beings that can be repelled by various beings, including invoke in the name of Jesus. All the participants in online discussions forums devoted a paranormal and supernatural topic, described them as a menacing. Other believers and paranormal authors do not agree whether shadow people are either evil, helpful, or neutral. And some even speculate that shadow people may be the extra dimensional inhabitants of another universe. Some paranormal investigators and authors, such as Shad Stumbag, claim to have recorded images of shadow people on video. Shadow people feature on two episodes of ITV paranormal documentary series Extreme Ghost Stories, where the phenomenon is described as a black mass. Okay, they have a section here that says scientific explanation. Let's see what they say. Several physiological and psychological conditions can account for reported experiences of shadowy shapes seeming alive. A sleep paralysis sufferer may perceive a shadowy or indistinct shape approaching them when they lie awake, paralyzed, and become increasingly alarmed. A person experiencing heightened emotions, such as while walking alone on a dark night, may incorrectly perceive a patch of shadow as an attacker. Many methamphetamine addicts, or methods, report that appearance of shadow people after prolonged periods of sleep deprivation. Psychiatrist Jack Potts suggests that meth has usage as a conspiratorial conspiratorial component, which is basically they are very paranoid, to the sleep-deprived hallucinations. One interview subject said that you don't see shadow dogs or shadow birds or shadow cars. You see shadow people standing in doorways, walking behind you, coming at you in the sidewalk. These hallucinations have been directly compared to the paranormal identity described in folklore. Okay, there's a whole lot of here, guys. Let's go to this another article that I found in Skeptoid. I think that's how you pronounce that. Shadow people. Brian Dunning. They usually come at night. Maybe you're reading or watching TV or just lying in bed. He's most often a man and maybe wearing a hat or a hood. A lot of times you only catch a glimpse of him out of the corner of your eye as he flits across the wall or disappears through a doorway. Sometimes he's just a shadow, a flat projection sliding across the wall or ceiling. But other times, especially in the dark, when you least expect it, shadow people appear as a full bodied black apparition, jet black like a void in the darkness itself. Featureless but for their piercing empty eyes. The foggy Santa Lucia Mountains run along the central coast of California, and for hundreds of years the Chumash or the Chumash Indians, I don't know how you pronounce that, so I apologize. I think it's Chumash Indians and later residents have told of the dark watchers, shadowy-headed, caped figures who appear on ridges at twilight only to fade away before your very eyes. A visit to the internet reveals hundreds and hundreds of stories from people who saw shadow people in their homes on websites such as shadowpeople.org, from the shadowblogspots.com and ghostweb.com. Guys, as I'm reading this right now, I'm getting more and more freaked out, okay? Because I'm here in my office in the back of my apartment and I'm freaking myself out. You know, I'm trying to be brave, but, you know, sometimes you just can't help it but to be freaked out by these stories, you know. So, anyway, let's read this little story by, I'm not really sure who's the story by, but I'm sure it's from probably one of these websites here that's mentioned, that's referenced up there. Okay. I opened my eyes and looked towards the middle of the room. I saw a large shadow in the shape of a person. It had no facial features that I could see, and it wasn't moving. It was just standing there looking at me. I blinked and then it was gone. I felt like someone was watching me, so I turned to look towards the hallway, and there it was in the doorway. It was a black figure. I could only see from the torso up. I felt it was a male and could feel that it was looking at me. I started to walk towards it and it disappeared back into the room. There, at the foot of my bed, was a tall, dark figure like a shadow. It appeared to be almost 7 feet tall with broad shoulders and was wearing what seems to be an old-fashioned top hat and some sort of cape. I watched it as it glided past me and out the door of my room. It goes without saying that skeptics have long-standing explanations that, from the comfort of your armchair, adequately rationalize all the stories of shadow people. These explanations run the gamut, all the way from mistaken identification of a real shadow from an actual person or object to various causes of optical illusions or hallucinations, like drugs or hypnodrug, or whatever you pronounce, how you pronounce this, hypnagogic sleeping states, even simply lying and making up the story. I think that probably everyone would agree that these have all happened and therefore they do explain some people's experiences. But here's a fact. Try to offer any of those explanations to someone telling you about a specific sighting, and it will likely be immediately shut down. I was not asleep. I knew the difference between a regular shadow and what I saw. What about my friend who saw it with me? The truth is that it's probably not possible to explain most sightings. If it was some mysterious, supernatural, non-corporeal corporal being who flitted through the room, no evidence will remain, and thus there is nothing to test or study. It's so trivial to fake photos or videos of something as vague as a shadow person that when these exist, they're interesting but practically worthless as far as empirism goes. Only in the rare case where an actual physical cause can be found and you're able to consistently reproduce the effect at the right location and the right time of day and in the right lighting conditions, are you able to provide a convincing explanation. Most, excuse me, Also, the rest of the time, all you have is a conjecture and hypothesis, and the eyewitness is likely to reject these. When I was a kid, we once lived in a house where if you walked up the stairs and one of the upstairs bedroom doors was open a crack, you might see a flash of movement inside the room from the corner of your eye. I saw it a number of times, and the other people in my family did too. I thought it looked like someone threw a colored sweatshirt across the room, but I never saw it whenever I walked carefully up the stairs and kept my eyes on that crack. It only happened if you weren't looking right at it and weren't thinking about it. The more you learn about how the brain fills in data in your per head. I'm sorry, guys. Right now, as I'm reading this, um, I feel uneasy, even though this exact paragraph where I'm reading actually explains there's nothing to worry about, but it can be just a figment of my imagination that I could just be hallucinating. I still feel uneasy. Maybe because I've been sleep deprived for several weeks. Well, I did sleep a couple hours here and there, but I do have sleep apnea, which is really it's a real struggle. So maybe that is why I feel a little bit uneasy. Or maybe because I did have some experience with shadow people before, where I thought that I was being choked by a shadow person in the middle of the night. And for this past several weeks, because of my sleep deprived, I would wake up with cold sweats and the same choky feeling. But this time, when waking up, I don't see anything. I just feel breathless. So I try to not think about anything and try to stay clear minded. Today, I couldn't go to sleep. I felt sick. So I decided to make this video and go live right now because I thought it was interesting. Why not? But I see now that I'm only suffering even more. That I'm allowing myself to feel such unease. Is this the cause of my sleep deprivation? I don't think so. I think it's a medical condition that I need to get checked out. Maybe I won't get it checked out. But this is a whole for this live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give this a like, share. I'll leave a comment down below. Tell me if you haven't had any experiences with shadow people. And if you did, it could be just your imagination.